Thank you. Thank you, and we are going to start the 37th ACM IEEE International Conference on Software Engineering. Welcome! My name is Antonia Bertolino from the National Research Council of Italy, and I am honored to have served as the General Chair and to serve as the General Chair of ICSE. And on behalf of the program co-chair, Gerardo Canfora from University of Sannio and Sebastian Elbaum from University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I welcome you to ICSE 2015. Okay, in preparing the conference, I would like to start from the most important component of the conference, and this is you. Thank you for being here, so numerous, and other people are still arriving, enjoying the audience. Thank you, because no audience, no ICSE, so this is the most important component. And I would like to give you some numbers. That is usual. You expect to have some numbers. And these are updated to like a couple of days ago. So we are here in a little less than 1,936 participants. But counting all the different participants to all the events that are co-located with the main conference, that are the workshop, co-located conference, and so on, there are 1,375 heads all around in the site. And these have attended the main events, counting for a total of almost 2,400 single registrations. That makes almost 2.5 almost events for each person. And if we look to the history of the event, you see some figures there. We in Florence are the third in history so far for participation to the main conference, and the second if we count all the heads that are participating to the events. So the record unreachable is with San Francisco in 2013, and the second count of total participants was in China. There is a high participation of students in ICSE as usual. This is a healthy measure of young people that feed the community. And the total is around 30%, so a little more than 30% for the main conference, and a little less if we count all the total. So we have a high percentage of students that collaborate in the organization of the conference as a student volunteer that rise the number for the main conference. I gave a look to the number considering geography, and I could not reach 60 just for one. I counted 59 different countries that are represented in the audience of the conference. And you have a list of the top 5 participants. And I am glad to see that Italy, that is hosting the conference, is the second ranked country. Thank you to all, again, for coming from far and from close to attend the conference. I tried also a preliminary, not confirmed, estimation of what is the balance between academy and industry, and the industrial percentage is around 22%. So these are good numbers. Today we are officially opening the main conference with the 3 days of main conference program, but there are participants that have been starting working the conference since Saturday. So we have several workshops, a total of 30 workshops associated with the conference. We have had 7 co-located events, co-located conferences, also attracting many participants. And we have started also some track of the main conference yesterday with the doctoral symposium. We did the doctoral symposium, the technical briefing, and the new faculty symposium that have all been very well received and attended. The main conference program is quite complex, and I am not going to illustrate it, otherwise I will take the whole morning. As you see, we have several tracks. We have introduced, I just pointed at some novelty, we have introduced this year the Software Engineering in Society new track, and this is going to continue because also the other future conference have maintained this. We have joined the collocated conference ICSE and have made a joint program this year for education, so joining the two community of ICSE and ICSE. And we are hosting on Friday morning the first journal, first TSE TOSEM session, in which we make an alliance with the main journal in software engineering for presenting outstanding papers also at conference. And I am not going to further on the single track, I just give you some number. So we have 3 plenary sessions today with the keynote from Ferrari, tomorrow morning with Susan Landau that will speak about privacy, again here, tomorrow morning. And then we have the closure on Friday afternoon, again here, in which we have the keynote from the most influential paper. Tomorrow morning, please be here timely at 8:30 because we also start with the keynote from the recipient of the Harlan Mills Award. Altogether, then we will have 61 parallel sessions. All this together make 245 papers to be presented, plus the 40 plus that we had yesterday, that all make more than 900 authors contributing to the proceeding. These are huge numbers. Something please to take note, don't forget. We start so every day sharp at 8:30. Please be here. We have a nicely event in the evening. Try to be here at 8:30 for your best. All the plenary sessions are here, and the lunch and breakfast area are here outside where you have the poster. Then for the parallel tracks, they are all in Palazzo degli Affari, the modern building that you see outside. And all of this has been thanks not only to me and the chair that I already introduced, but also to the big team that worked for more than 1 year to make this program happen. And I would like to invite all the people of the organizing committee that are here, please to stand up to take our applause to thank them. Thank you. Please don't sit, stay there, because each of these, please don't sit. I would like also to invite all the members of the respective program committee that have helped this team to make the track to also stand up if you are here. If you was in the program committee of some of this track, please stand up, don't be shy. I would like to show that this is the collaboration really of a big, big group of people. So someone maybe is shy and won't, thank you. Thank you again. And this does not include the technical research track, for which I will give the floor later to Sebastian and Gerardo. Thank you. And I cannot finish without thanking also the sponsor of the conference, IEEE Computer Society and TCCS, the ACM, Association for Computing Machinery, and SIGSoft. And we also thank our patrons, Regione Toscana, that will give you a brief welcome later on, the municipality of Florence, and the association, the Italian Association for Computing, ICA. And then our supporter. We thank the supporter because without them, the conference would either be much more expensive or we could not have been here in this wonderful place. So thank you again to all our sponsors, patrons, and the supporter. Now, some practical information quickly, and I'll give the floor to Gerardo and Sebastian. So many of you have been around previously. So this is the main conference area for plenary, here, Palazzo dei Congressi. This is Palazzo degli Affari, where we have the parallel session. In the middle, there is the secretariat. And this is the garden that you can enjoy. I mean, the lunch and breakfast are served here, but then you are welcome also to go in the garden and stay there. We will also have some table to help for the lunch. Okay, now the social program, that was about the scientific program. We have also a nice social program. So in your badge, you should have one ticket that allow you to enter the Uffizi Gallery. The Uffizi Gallery tonight is closed to the general public and is open only for us. We have exclusive entrance. But it is like when you go to the airport and take an airplane, we have to go through a security check and metal detector. So please, we are 1,000 people that have to enter through 2 metal detectors. So what we have arranged to avoid queue is that each of you has a time in the ticket, like this. So this is, for instance, ticket at 7:15. So you will have a time. Please respect your time. Be there sharply, because in this way we can partition the queue. And also be there without a big backpack, without liquid, without food, as when you go on the airplane. Try to be expedite and not to make people wait behind you. When we finish when you finish the visit to the Uffizi, you are welcome to join the reception that is in Cortile della Mannati in Palazzo Pitti. So when you exit from Uffizi, you make a nice walk on the Ponte Vecchio and you reach this Palazzo Pitti. The reception will be open from 8:30. But for those of you that bought the extra ticket for Corridoio Vasariano, you don't need to go out, because the Corridoio Vasariano is exactly meant to go from Uffizi to Palazzo Pitti. So you will go inside, okay? And we need the ticket. Please bring your badge and the tickets. Tomorrow we have the social dinner at Mercato Centrale starting from 8 p.m. Again, please bring your ticket and bring your badge. And if for some reason, we are sorry that you cannot join, but if for some reason you cannot join, please don't waste your ticket, because there is a long queue of people that would like to have a ticket for the spouse, and the event is sold out. So either pass it or let us know in the reception. Thank you. Final thing, you found these tickets also. This is also for socializing here during the break and lunch. So if you want, you could compile it with your favorite hobby, your topic of research, and stick it on your badge or wherever you want. And if you need more info, since time is tight, you can look at the program brochure, or you can use 2 mobile apps that are available. So you go to this site and you find instruction for downloading one or the other. Or you can ask to our wonderful team of student volunteer with the green shirt, or you can go to the secretariat. That's it. And now I please invite Gerardo and Sebastian to come up and present the technical research program.
Well, thank you. It is with a mix of happiness and relieved that we are up here. This is, well, it's just to see you all here and be in the presence of the whole ICSE community after so much work. The effort of preparing ICSE involves a lot of people, and it also involves a lot of time. So one of the things that we want to tell you about is we're using this timeline at the top to tell you a little story about how ICSE came about from our eyes, from the eyes of the program chairs. Sometime in 2012, and this is a story that parts may be real, parts not, so bear with me. Sometimes in 2012, we believe that Antonia pitched to the steering committee of ICSE that Gerardo and I were viable candidates as program chairs of the conference. A lot of opinions were stated. A lot of discussion was ensued after that, and eventually we were approved by the steering committee to become chairs. Now, something that nobody tells you, and this is a secret, and future program chairs be aware, is that there's a big exam that we had to take to see whether we were able to do this. Luckily, we both passed. It was close, but we made it. After and more seriously, after that, we had to refine the reviewing process. So There's a lot of tensions in deciding what is a good, ideal reviewing process and how do we get there. There are, we want to make sure that we accept good papers. We want to make sure that bad ones do not make it into the program. We want to make sure that we have community participation. We want to make sure that the feedback that gets to the authors, whether the papers were accepted or rejected, is really, really valuable to them. And at the same time, we have limitations in terms of how many resources do we have, how many reviewers do we have, how much checking we can do on the reviews to be good. How do we balance the load so that it's reasonable for reviewers to achieve their job and do it well? So throughout these tensions that sometimes are not very well aligned, we picked several elements from previous ICSEs and from other conferences to achieve what turned out to be our reviewing process. The reviewing process that we used had several phases. So the idea of incremental phases has been used in the past, but the idea is that you assign as many reviews to each paper as you need to make a good decision. And that's why some papers had 2 reviewers and some papers received 4 reviews. As many as we needed for us to be comfortable in making the decision. So that was the first component. The second component is the fact that we used 2 committees working in tandem. We used a PC, a program committee, traditionally used in ICSE, and also a reviewing committee. These allow us to include more people from the community into the reviewing process, and also it allows us to, distribute the load, the reviewing load, among the reviewers, so it becomes more sensible and people can spend more time on each paper. Now, the PC worked on every single phase of the process, from the first phase, second phase, online discussion, 4th reviewer, and the PC meeting where we made the decisions. And the RC reviewers participated primarily in the first phase and in the online discussion, where we actually discussed the papers virtually. Out of this process, there were a few new components that we introduced. One was formalized kind of introduction of this 4th reviewer for the papers that needed it. We also introduced some early notification deadlines, so we try to streamline the process to keep it to 100 days. So within 100 days, we wanted to get the final notifications to you. But if we knew before that what was going to be the outcome of your paper, we send a notification earlier, right after the first phase. The other thing that we did is, this is a practice that we took very seriously, is that Gerardo and I looked at every single review and we actually searched for particular anti-patterns that I'm sure you're familiar with, that make you really mad if you are an author and you get those. This led to changes in many of the reviews. Actually, 15% of the reviews were changed because of the anti-patterns that we detected. We're not claiming that was perfect. I'm sure many reviews went out without the degree of perfection that we would like. But this is an ongoing process, and stay tuned, because ICSE is going to keep improving the process, is going to keep adjusting things until we get satisfied. And my guess is that will never happen, that the process is going to keep improving until forever. Now, I introduced the concept of the program committee and the reviewing committee and the roles that they play. We had in total 81 reviewers between both committees. The diversity was, we felt very, very good about our committee. It included people from 25 countries. It included almost a quarter of the people were new to the ICSE reviewing committee. We believe that we needed this combination of experience and new blood into the mix. And just to give you an idea, these 81 reviewers wrote the equivalent of 100 ICSE submissions in terms of word count, okay? So that gives you an idea of the magnitude of work that it was done, and those are just words in paper, but it doesn't reflect the discussions that we had or anything like that. Just word count on how much people produce and how much feedback was given back to the authors. Now, you see a lot of people there. We are really thankful to them. They were great. I don't know if you can see the back image, but the images are about cowboys herding cats. And if you haven't heard that expression, sometimes we felt like that. And some of the cats were actually very ferocious. But that's what we wanted out of our committee. We wanted smart, driven folks, and again, very happy with the outcome and what it produced. Now, throughout this process, we did things that we did not sign up for, usually instigated by our general chair, Antonia Bertolino, and if you were not here for the open and didn't see this, that's okay. So we did things like singing and dancing to Volare. Yeah, again, if you haven't seen it, that's okay. I'm happy. I mean, let's just leave it at. I think we didn't miss any calling in terms of dancing and singing career. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I guess that dancing Volare in India was the most difficult part of the work, if you agree. So after dancing, it was an easy task to deal with the deadline. That was early in September, you probably remember. By the deadline, we got 452 submissions. This involved more than 25 different countries and something like 12,000 authors. And this is more or less, well, in line with what happened in the previous years. You see the number of submissions is more or less stable since the last 5 years. This is an overview of the submissions by countries. We have quite few papers from the traditional areas for ICSE, like North America and Europe, but we are also seeing an increasing number of submissions from China and Singapore. And although we are getting more papers, most of the papers from the academia, there is also a good number of papers which are being submitted by industrial authors. So, what we did with these papers, we started with these 452 submissions. The very first step in the process was to look at the papers for format and scope. And during this check that Sebastian and I did, we rejected 22 papers because they were either out of scope or were not compliant to the ICSE format, which left us with 430 papers in the reviewing process. And then we moved to assigning the papers. This is something we did spending a week together in Lincoln, a week during which we learned that sometimes the bids the reviewers submit to select the papers they want to review are not that helpful in getting the right amount of expertise on every single paper. So we ended up with a very manual and labor-intensive process to pick the right reviewers for each of the papers. And then we had first round of reviewing. At the end of the first round of reviewing, we rejected 189 papers. We were very conservative in rejecting these papers. We were careful to reject only papers for which there was consensus among the reviewer that the quality of the papers was not in line with the ICSE expectation, and we checked that we had enough expertise to make the decision. So if there was some controversial, or if we felt there was not enough expertise by the reviewers, we passed the paper to the second round of reviewing. At the end of the second round of reviewing, we directly rejected 17 more papers, which left us with 224 papers in the process. And these are the papers that entered the online discussion, okay? So during the online discussion, you heard that something like 100 ICSE, equivalent ICSE papers were produced yesterday. As a joke, Sebastian and I made a count on words, and it came out that the reviewers wrote all together, including discussion, email, and reviews, they wrote something like 10 times the Divina Commedia by Dante Alighieri, which is, you know, a lot of information going back to the authors to improve their work. So what happened in the online discussion? At the end of the online discussion, we rejected another set of 78 papers, but we also accepted 31 papers. So these were accepted before the program committee took place, because there was a large consensus and good expertise by the reviewers on the, you know, high quality of these submissions, which left us with something 115 papers to be discussed at the meeting. The meeting was then held in December. It was in Pisa. You can see people working there on making decision, and the outcome of this process was that we rejected 63 papers and accepted another 53 papers. So altogether, we have 84 papers which are being presented in the program, which is an acceptance rate of 18.5%, which once again is very much in line with the results of the, you know, last few years, as you can see here. You probably know that when papers are submitted to the conference, the authors are asked to mark their submission with a topic area, and these are the most likely to be seen areas in this conference because they have the highest percentage of accepted papers. You see that 1 out of 4 papers mention program analysis in their set of topic area. And you probably also know that in addition to a topic area, authors are also asked to mark their submissions with a form of category, which is something different from the topic area. Is a way of identifying where you feel as an author the main contribution of that paper is in. Something like technology or empirical results or, you know, methodological contribution or just vision and stuff like that. Again, you have the figures for submissions and acceptance for the different categories. I want just to stress that we had very low rate of submissions in the perspective category, and even lower category, even lower rate of accepted paper in this category, which is something we feel as a community we should think about to try to increase this kind of visionary papers in our community. And once we had the paper, the work was not over at all, because we had to assemble the program, which was not easy. You have listed by Antonella. There are quite few different components, like, you know, keynotes, and there are 27 technical tracks, and there are 84 papers, 24 sessions, and then you have software engineering in practice, near. You have software engineering in society. So a lot of components, and put all these components together was quite a challenging puzzle, which reminded us of the New Machine for a New World of Leonardo da Vinci, which were kind of, you know, puzzle, mechanical puzzle, which sometimes worked, sometimes did not, but, you know. Well, managing this complexity, not just of assembling the program, but of the entire process, in our opinion, requires that we do not reinvent the wheel year by year, but we build upon the experience of previous years. And this is why, as a final step of the process, we decided, following the tradition started for ICSE 2014, we decided to gather systematically data on the entire process and produce a report which can help future organizers to build upon the experience of others. We used in particular 3 different sources of information for this report. One is data from the paper management system. And the second source is that we use the online survey, which involved both the authors of the submissions and the reviewers, PC and RC members. And then the third source of information was the 2 of us. We have been working almost full-time for some weeks on this. And so we used our experience to, distill lesson learned. And we think that availability of data to the entire community is a way of, making sure that the process is understood and is fully transparent to everyone within the community. And this is why the report is now made available in the conference website. You can go there and download and read it if you have not done it already. And kind of high-pitch sale, just, to give you an idea of what is the kind of information you will find in the report. I'm reporting here a few data concerned with the quality of reviewing. So we did some assessment of the quality of reviewing from 3 different points of view. The first one is self-assessment. Reviewers are usually asked to mark their level of expertise in the submission area of the paper, and the scale is X, Y, Z, where X is the top and Z is the bottom. And as you can see, more than 90% of the, 95 actually, % of the reviewers, they feel confident in the judgment they provided for their reviews. The second viewpoint was peer assessment. We asked each of the reviewers to, provide feedback on whether or not they feel the reviews they read from the other peers in the community were constructive. And again, you see a very high level of percentage of the answer was yes, they were constructive. And here is the author's view. We asked the authors whether or not they feel the reviews were useful for improving their work, they were valuable to them, and 66% of the answer is yes, but if you go and look at the report, you will discover that there is quite a bit of difference if the authors said their paper accepted or not, but this is something that is human, is understandable. And we have a comedy in Italy that says, gli esami non finiscono mai, the exams will never finish. So we know that there is another form of assessment coming on, and this is you. So we are looking forward to get your feedback on the program and on the entire conference, and you can provide feedback using either the mobile application or just filling the online questionnaire you will find at this URL. And that's it. Antonella?
Thank you.
Antonella.
Thank you. And I would like to add on this that this link is not visible to the general public. So you can go to there, but it is not linked to the website, okay? So to be sure that only people that are here will fill the questionnaire. Okay, before giving the official opening of the conference, I would like to invite on the stage some people that in a form or in another are also contributing to make this event. And I would like to start from Judith Bishop. Please, can you come up on the floor? Help me clapping Judith. So, Judith is well known to the community. She is the director of computer science in Microsoft Research, that is the platinum sponsor of ICSE. But on top of this, Judith always contributes to the program in many forms. She has been active here since Saturday in many events. And I would like to invite her to give a greeting to you. Please.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. I'm here just to say welcome from Microsoft and from Microsoft Research to everybody at ICSE. Since I was last at ICSE in Hyderabad, Microsoft has had a new Chief Executive Officer, Satya Nadella, and the group I'm in, which is Microsoft Outreach, also has a new head, P. Anandan, and of course a new vision across all of what we do. And so we now do everything mobile and in the cloud. We have our programs running across all platforms on all our devices first. And it turns out that we're also embracing open source and cross-platform software. And this kind of vision, you will find underlying all the papers that our researchers, engineers, and scientists who are present here are giving at this conference. There are 14 of us here. You will probably see them all around. We haven't got orange shirts this time, but we are present and active. And so it's with great pleasure that I want to say that actually the world is your platform here in software engineering, and Microsoft is with you all the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would also like to invite on the stage Dr. Claudio Montani, that is the director of the ICSE CNR, that is my own institute. So the National Research Council has contributed to the conference with the general chair, many key role in the conference, and I would like to give to Claudio the opportunity to also welcome you.
Thank you very much. I saw your agenda. I know your agenda is very heavy and full, and I don't want to waste your time. Just a few words to say hello. As Antonio said, I am the director of the Institute of Computer Science and Technology, which is a computer science institute located in Pisa. Our institute is part of the Italian National Research Council. As you probably know, CNR is the largest non-university public network of research in Italy. I'd like to offer you a very warm welcome, not only for my part, but also on behalf of the president of CNR, Professor Luigi Nicolais. We are proud to have, as CNR, as institute, we are proud to have made such a valuable contribution to this important organization of this important conference, and we really hope it will be fruitful for you all. I wish you a productive time here and a pleasant stay in this wonderful city, Florence. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last but not least, I would like to invite on the stage Dr. Marco Masi. Masi is the director of the Department for Education, University and Research of the region of Tuscany. The region of Tuscany has given patronage to this event. Is also supporting some prize for a student that attended the competition of SCORE that will be presented on Friday, and has given support and visibility to the event in many ways. And also being a researcher in Tuscany, I can testify that the region, the administration is very sensible to research and sustain many activities and many projects. So please, Marco.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, everybody. On behalf of the President of the Tuscany region, Enrico Rossi, I would like to extend our greetings to you and to wish the success of the ICSE International Conference. Particularly, I would like to thank Antonia Bertolino. Brava, Antonia. And this meeting represents an important opportunity, not only for Tuscany region, to deal with the central themes of research and innovation. We are in fact certain that shared information initiative could constitute an ultra important element to enforce and improve research quality. As noted by the European Commission, Europe faces a difficult task. It must exit from a deep crisis and reduce unemployment. Such an ambitious task requires swift action of many fronts, which is why the European Council adopted in the Europe 2020 strategy. To succeed, European, national, regional and local levels all need to play their part. Regional policy should continue to play an important role of these difficult times in order to deliver smart, sustainable, and inclusive growth while promoting harmonious development and reducing disparities. In occasion of this meeting, we'll discuss a subject regarding collaboration opportunities between researchers, infrastructure, university, research center, and industry, and joining synergistic initiative. University and the research center can and must have a key role in accompanying Europe and Tuscany along a new development path, not only by forming human capital and producing new knowledge, but also by providing regional enterprise with knowledge useful for innovation, with a view to developing a free and democratic knowledge-based society. So, thank you very much for your attention and enjoy staying in Florence.
Thank you. And now, after all these greetings and welcome, I have the pleasure to declare that ICSE 2015 is officially open, and we start with the first important session of the conference, that is giving the awards to meritorious people. Please.
Thank you. So we're going to start with the ACM 6 of Distinguished Paper Awards. ACM, all the conference sponsored by ACM 6 of are encouraged to recognize the papers that are above the rest, up to 10% of the papers. In this conference, with the help of the reviewing committees, we identify a set of papers, we trim them down, and we get 6 papers that really stood up and are going to be recognized with the Distinguished Paper Awards. So let's start with the first one. We're going to ask you to, when your paper is mentioned, to come to the podium. You're going to receive the certificate, and we're going to take a picture of you, I believe. So the first award goes to Why Good Developers Write Bad Code, an observational case study of the impacts of organizational factors on software quality, and this is by Matthew Lavalier and Pierre Robillard. You want to give it to him? I'll stay. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations, Matthew.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next awardees are Janet Sigmund, Norbert Sigmund, and Sven Appel for views on internal and external validity in empirical software engineering. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Stay with us. Stay with us a little. Closer. Thank you. Congratulations. The next award goes to Michael Waterman, James Noble, and George Allen for How Much Upfront? A Grounded Theory of Agile Architecture.
And next one is, yeah. So, when and why your code starts to smell bad? Michele Tufano, Fabio Palomba, Gabriele Bavota, Rocco Oliveto, Massimiliano Di Penta, Andrea De Lucia, and Dennis Posiak. And all of them are here. All of them are here. That's a football team. Congratulations. Next one is Alloy Star, a general purpose high-order relational constraint solver. Milicevic, Nier, Kang, and Jackson, Daniel Jackson. Congratulations. And the final one is Caramel, detecting and fixing performance problems that have non-intrusive fixes. Nistor, Chang, Radoi, and Shandu. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I guess we want to thank our committee now.
Yeah. So all the distinguished paper awards are marked in your program with a little cup. So we encourage you to attend all the talks, but these ones have a highlight dot next to them. So it's time for us to recognize our committee, and we did something a little bit special today, but the first thing we want to do is, if you were in our reviewing or program committee, please stand up. We want to recognize you, give you a big round of applause. We really appreciate what you did. So please, if you were in the RC or PC, stand up. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you didn't like your reviews, those are the people that you need to.
And if you did like them, it's because we...
Yeah, we did a good job. So besides the program committee and the reviewing committee, this year we have actually set up a distinguished reviewer award for 6 reviewers that were nominated by their peers and were recognized by us because they were really just great, open-minded, diligent, very analytical, very helpful throughout the discussion, through the feedback they provided to the authors. Now, this award, also known as Get Ready to be Invited to Many More Committees, we don't know if this is a favor to get this award or not, but we really wanted to recognize it. We really appreciate what you did. So we're going to invite all of them at the same time to please come up and join us on the stage. The Distinguished Reviewing Awards go to Andrew Begel from Microsoft, Yuri Brun. Yuri? I don't know if Yuri's here. Leonardo Mariani. Stephen McMahon. Caitlin Sadowski. Anita Sarma. Sarab Sina. And Andrea Zeller. Congratulations, guys. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Should we line up for the picture? Okay, we can give him. Yeah. Do you want to hold one right there? Okay, thank you. And I think we can go out and distribute.
Yeah, you do. You do. Congratulations.
One last announcement. We want to invite Team Menzies and a big jury to give the Best Paper Award for the near track, a new initiative, the Natural Lens of Software by Prem Devambu. Congratulations, Prem. Next is you. I'm going to just step down. Next is you.
Yeah. Let's stay here.
Microphone.
Okay, so we are preparing now for the keynote. Yes. Okay, so this closes the opening the first session, the first part of this plenary session, and in a few minutes we now make the transition for the keynote that we start sharp at 9:30. Maybe we start a minute before for making the introduction. Just stay there, hold on.